Lowenthal here. If he is ready, you're welcome to start.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members. I am so pleased and proud to present AB 1803, which is part of a broader legislative package developed in partnership with the Select Committee on Racism, Hate, and Xenophobia that is chaired by Assemblymember Corey Jackson. And let me just take this opportunity to say it is such a joy to work in an environment with colleagues that we can learn from. And I have learned so much from Assemblymember Corey Jackson every day. It's thrilling to be able to work with him on topics that are so critical at a historic time in California, and particularly for my community. And I'm grateful to the Assembly member for wanting to collaborate with me on that. AB 1803 requires that all California businesses with 5 or more employees to include anti-hate speech training as a component of their existing workplace harassment prevention training. This bill does not add additional training hours. It just ensures that hate speech is addressed so workers understand how to identify and report hate speech when they encounter it. California law already requires employers to train workers on sexual harassment, on abusive conduct, and harassment based on gender identity and sexual orientation. However, it contains no requirement to address hate speech targeting race, religion, ethnicity, or national origin, among the most commonly reported forms of workplace hostility. Hate speech is not just offensive language. It can be a precursor to violence. When hate speech goes unchallenged, it normalizes hostility and emboldens escalation. Reported hate crimes in California rose by nearly 160% in the last decade, and no community has been spared. As a Jewish American, I want to speak to the rise in anti-Semitism directly. California now ranks second in the nation for anti-Semitic incidents, with 1,344 recorded in 2024 alone. In Los Angeles, anti-Jewish hate crimes accounted for 80% of all religious hate crimes and 19% of hate crimes committed in schools. But this crisis extends far beyond any one community. Between 2019 and 2022, hate crimes against Black Californians nearly tripled. Hate crimes against Latinos nearly doubled. And hate crimes against Asians more than tripled. California's Civil Rights Department estimates that 2.6 million Californians experienced at least one act of hate between 2022 and 2023. These are not abstract numbers. They reflect real people in real workplaces who deserve better. Employees already undergo harassment prevention training. We are simply asking them to ensure it covers the full scope of what their workers are actually experiencing. When employees can recognize hate speech, when they can understand their rights, and when they feel empowered to report it, hate loses the silent tolerance it depends on to persist. I'm pleased to be joined by Stephanie Chen of Stop AAPI Hate, who is here to testify in support.
Thank you. I'm sorry, ma'am. Before we do that, I would like to establish quorum, if that's okay. Secretary, please call the roll.
Ortega?
Here.
Alanis?
Present.
Chen?
Alvarez. Alra. Lee. Arambula.
We have a quorum. You may proceed.
Okay. Good afternoon, Chair Ortega and committee members. My name is Dr. Stephanie Chan, and I am the Director of Data and Research for Stop AAPI Hate. Stop AAPI Hate operates the largest community reporting center for anti-Asian and anti-Pacific Islander hate acts in the U.S. This bill is a critical step to reducing workplace harassment. Bias-motivated hate acts are a major problem in California. Based on the latest data from the California Health Interview Survey conducted by UCLA, researchers estimate that over 3.1 million Californians ages 12 and older experienced a hate act in 2024. Among them, 83% encountered verbal insults and attacks. 55% were targeted due to their race. 20% of these incidents happened in the workplace. And this data still just represents the tip of the iceberg. Stop API Hate also conducts its own annual survey asking about hate in more detail. And we found that 46% of AAPI adults, that's about 2.8 million AAPI adults, experienced a hate act in 2025. And among these, 62% experienced hateful or derogatory messages in their environment, and 37% experienced hateful or derogatory messages spoken directly to them. Here's an example that was shared with us. We have an AAPI community event coming up to support the community, and one of my coworkers went up to our only Asian coworker in the department and said the event was of his people and proceeded to use her fingers to pull back her eyes and make slanted eyes. The Asian coworker who was targeted brought this up in our team meeting, and the rest of the team just laughed, and our head boss decided to ignore the comment with no action taken. This is in Los Angeles in 2025. Hate acts like these have adverse impacts. 40% of the Californian AAPI adults who said they experienced hate reported negative effects on their health. Training on harassment could prevent hate acts in workplaces and more broadly in our communities. Thank you.
Do we have additional witnesses in support?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I'm Santosh Siram, representing Chinese for Affirmative Action. We are a community-based civil rights organization and Stop AAPI Hate in support of the bill. Thank you.
Mariko Yoshihara on behalf of the California Employment Lawyers Association in support.
Shane Gussman on behalf of the Engineers and Scientists of California in support.
Thank you. Seeing no other witnesses in support, do we have any main witnesses in opposition? We have a motion. You may start. I forgot to say this earlier, but our witnesses have 2 minutes each. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Chair members, my name is Greg Burt with the California Family Council, and we represent thousands of Californians in 2,000 churches, and we strongly oppose AB 1803. Let me be clear, you cannot regulate what you cannot define. And this training hinges on a term, hate speech, that has no clear legal definition in state law. I'm sure there are things in workplaces that 99% of us would all agree are hateful and should never be said. But here's the problem. When government uses its authority to define hate, it inevitably targets speech it just doesn't like. We see this here at the Capitol. Unpopular religious beliefs about sexuality or gender are labeled as hate, and then groups like ours who advocate for these viewpoints are labeled as hate groups. Recently, our organization held a press conference in Long Beach advocating that female sports be simply reserved for actual women. Some advocacy groups and government officials considered our message as hate speech. I would assume the author of this bill agrees with them because he showed up to personally protest as teenage female athletes expressed how uncomfortable they were to have to undress in locker rooms with boys watching them. The message of the press conference must have really made the Assemblyman very angry because a couple of the girls told us they saw the Assemblyman flipping off the crowd as he left. I'll let Assemblyman Lowenthal clarify whether this really happened or what he was actually trying to communicate with that gesture. There is no hate speech exception in the First Amendment. The government cannot compel speech or force employers to promote a government-approved viewpoint. That's not training, that's simply compelled indoctrination. For the sake of free speech and religious liberty and basic fairness, we respectfully urge a no vote on this bill. Thank you.
I just want to remind my witnesses to keep to the substance of the bill.
I thought I did.
Your next witness has 2 minutes.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Meg Madden. I represent CAUSE, Californians United for Sex-Based Evidence in Policy and Law, and Women Are Real, both nonpartisan organizations without religious affiliation. Hate speech is not defined, as it is not a legal category of speech in California or federal law. The Supreme Court has repeatedly confirmed that speech cannot be restricted simply because someone finds it offensive. Consequently, if AB 1803 is implemented, whoever designs or approves the training curriculum gets to define hate speech, not in any legally enforceable way. The First Amendment puts a stop to that. Instead, the concept of hate speech will be used to chill what is completely legal speech. And that is a big problem for my organizations because existing California state law mandates instruction on, quote, gender identity, unquote, which presupposes there are more than two sexes, humans can change sex, and or humans have a gender identity inside of them that renders their actual sex irrelevant. This means anyone who speaks facts about the reality of sex is in danger of being accused of committing hate speech. Yesterday, in the Arts Committee next door, I was accused of, quote, spewing hate, unquote, by two assembly members after I testified it was harmful
Ma'am,
to girls' mental health
I'm going to
be
ask,
forced to
excuse me,
share.
ma'am, I'm going to ask you to keep to the substance of the bill.
The bill is about hate speech training, correct? If gender identity...
This is not a debate. I am asking you to please stick to the merits of the bill.
I'm going to finish my testimony, which does stick to it. Did the assembly members have, they said that I was spewing hate when I testified it was harmful to girls' mental health to be forced to share locker rooms and girls' sports teams with boys. Did the assembly members have an argument against what I said? I don't know, as none was needed when I could simply be accused of hate speech, an accusation that tends to chill any possibility of rational thought or discussion. Women must always be permitted to call a man a man.
Thank you. I will now call for questions from members. Is there any other opposition in the room? State your name, organization, and position.
Hello, David Bolog, representing the SFV Alliance, and also as a member in good standing of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, in opposition.
Thank you. Any other opposition? Seeing none. Questions from members?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to give the author a chance if he wants to please, if you want to rebuttal anything that came, or maybe even help define the hate crime, because that seems to be the opposition's point that they're making.
The bill does not currently...
I'm sorry, hate crime speech.
Thank you, Assembly Member. The bill does not currently define hate speech. We're still deliberately discussing those elements with stakeholders very early in the process. Specifically, we're working with the Civil Rights Department and community advocacy organizations to determine how to define what hate speech training should look like in practice. So what the content, the standards, and the expectations should be for employers.
Thank you. Would you like to close?
Respectfully ask for your aye vote. I would like, Madam Chair, if you would give me a moment, the
yes.
opposition brought forward an event that took place in my district as some sort of mechanism for a discussion around hate speech. Maybe I'll indulge you since you didn't ask me directly. We have a system in the legislature, an informal system amongst legislators, that we notify each other when we're doing events in each other's district, specifically so when there are public outcries and concerns that we know how to handle them. The assembly members that were participating in that event didn't give our office any notification, so we didn't know anything about it whatsoever, sir. We got calls to our assembly office about community members that were concerned that I was participating in that event because it said they're assembly members at a press conference taking place in Long Beach. I had no communication with any girls or any athletes in that, but I absolutely was very frustrated with the assembly members who have since apologized. Thank you, Madam Chair. Respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you for addressing that and bringing this bill forward. I have a strong aye recommendation. We have a motion and a second. Secretary, please call the roll.
AB 1803, Lowenthal. The motion is due pass and we refer to Committee on Judiciary. Ortega?
Aye.
Ortega, aye. Alanis? Not voting. Alanis not voting. Chen? El Hawari? Aye. El Hawari, aye. Kalra? Lee? Arambula? Aye.
That's 3 ayes. The motion passes. Oh, we're going to leave the bill open for absent members. I
Madam
apologize.
Chair.
Thank you.